Hey, what's up, everybody, and happy Monday. That's right, it's another Monday. So, I want to thank you for tuning in for another edition of Motivation Mondays with JR. If this is your first time listening, thank you and welcome. And if you're watching this on Instagram, make sure you hit the link in the bio for the full video. So, let's jump right into it. Listen, have you ever found yourself in a situation that you never ever imagined that would ever happen to you? Right. I know some of you right now, while you're listening to me, you can think of a similar situation that happened to you that you found yourself in, whether it was at work or something in a relationship with your spouse or whatever it is. Most of us have found ourselves in situations that we completely did not want or we did not work for, or it wasn't the expected outcome that we had hoped for, but unfortunately, there we are, right? So now the question is, what are you going to do about it? Right? What are you going to do about it? So there are two things that cause you to be found in the situation that you found yourself in, right? Number one, it could be that of something that you did or a decision that you made that led to you to be found in the situation that you are, or it could be that it was somebody else's decision, it was somebody else's fault, or somebody else had done something that led you to find yourself in the situation that you are in right now. But either way, it doesn't matter, right? So what matters is, what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it from this point on? Right. So there are two things that you can do. Number one is, most people can just sit there and complain, oh my God, why me? Why me? I worked so hard not to be here. It wasn't me. That's not what I wanted. The project is falling apart. I've been working so hard on this project and now, this is what's going on or whatever it is. So we go on and on and on and on and complain and complain and complain. But what we fail to realize is most of the time when we complain, it doesn't change anything. Right? So right now, if you were to ask yourself, right, how long have you been complaining about the very situation that you are in right now, that you're going through right now? Has anything changed? Most likely not. So what I want you to realize is just sitting there and complaining about it is not going to change anything. So instead of just trying to be, instead of sitting there complaining and be miserable and say, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And to me, I feel like, the more we complain, it's like we are seeking attention. We are, saying, hey, look at me, have pity on me, look at where I found myself. So that's one thing. And the second thing is we can decide and say, you know what? Regardless of whose fault it is, regardless of why I am where I am, I'm going to make a decision to actually start working and getting myself out of that situation. So we've already established, yeah, okay, fine, it wasn't your fault. It doesn't matter whether it was your fault that you got into the situation or it was somebody else's fault. It doesn't matter. So what matters is we have to make a decision for ourselves to pick ourselves up and say, I'm going to work to get myself out of this situation. I'm going to dig myself out. So I'm no longer going to sit and be miserable. I'm no longer going to sit there and dwell in it, right? And have people feel sorry for me, but I'm going to dig myself out. Most of the time, because we feel like it wasn't our fault that we were in this situation, we get to become comfortable in it. And we just want to sit there and complain instead of trying to do something about it. Rather than trying to dig ourselves out, we just want to wait until somebody else come along and to dig ourselves out. But today and this week, what I want to encourage you is, I want to encourage you to start digging yourself out. Dig yourself out. And oftentimes what we don't realize is because we're so used to the attitude of complaining and we become complicit and become comfortable in the situation. So we don't even realize that the gutter is actually not that deep. So if we were to just stand up, we can literally walk out of that situation. But because our mind has been conditioned to complaining so much and so long, it's like we perceive the gutter to be a lot deeper than it actually is in real life. So my advice to you this week is let's shoot for a shift in our mind, right? Let's shift from complaining to planning. So let's shift to make a plan to get out of that gutter. Let's shift our mind to make the decision and say, you know what? I'm going to dust myself up. I'm going to make a move. I'm going to start digging myself out. It doesn't matter how I got here. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. What matters is I'm going to get out. So I hope you begin to dig yourself out of whatever situation that you are going through this week. And I just want to tell you, you're not alone. So again, thank you very much for tuning in with Eminem with JR, Monday Motivation with JR. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next week for another video.